ever wanted to gain muscle? Like, realistically, think about it, right? What reasons are there to gain muscle? And by the way, this lighting and the sun, it's just majestic, except I can't see the stop light. But look, all right, why would you want to build muscle? Okay, let's go through these reasons. Okay, first of all, you look better. Second of all, you feel better. Third of all, everyone else around you treats you with more respect and dignity. Fourth of all, you're stronger. You can do more things in life. As you get older, you're more capable and you're a more useful person. And there are many other reasons, like health, hormones, mental health, especially. I'd argue working out and getting jacked and strong and fit impacts your mental health in a way more positive way than even your physical health. So why wouldn't you want to get jacked? And now that the summer's coming up, you especially probably want to get jacked. So this is the video for that. I'm going to make this short and sweet because I want to kind of jam to some music. I don't know how I want to add that, but yeah, you get the point, you know what I mean? So look, this is my best tips on getting jacked. And I know the first video I ever did was similar to this in terms of like, yo, this is how you get jacked. But this isn't just a tips video. This is more of a video where I'm exposing my thoughts. And when it comes to muscle building, I have infinite thoughts in terms like I got a lot of stuff brewing up in there and probably a lot of videos worth of content in there. So don't worry about that. Like I'll have new stuff coming down whenever I speak about this subject, but I'm just spewing my brain, you know what I mean? I'm brainstorming as I go, and I'm just letting you guys know that this, through experience and studies and research and science, is how you build muscle, okay, dude? But this isn't just to build muscle. This is also to look good, all right? You can be fucking jacked as shit, but if you have a fat layer that's like 4 inches covering it all, you're not gonna look good. Same way you can have an awesome ripped jawline, but if you're fucking fat as shit, you're not gonna see any of that, you know what I mean? You're just gonna look fat. So, look, one of the muscles I want to talk about is abs, because abs is one of the most misunderstood muscles of all time, especially among the older generation, like our parents' generation, for example, if you're around the same age as me, and I'm almost 19, by the way. My birthday's near the end of April 25th, but which kind of feels like a crushing weight of reality is falling down my shoulders, and I think it'll be okay until I'm about 21, and then when I'm 21, I'll get clapped in the cheek and I'll stop the dread of reality. But moving on, the abs are super misunderstood, all right? People think, first of all, that you can spot burn abs or just do some ab exercises and you can, you'll build those abs up. First of all, ab exercises are just cardio for most people. Like, as a beginner, you're not going to get so much ab muscle from just like ab circuits and like a minute work and 5 minutes. It doesn't matter how long you do it, okay? That's not what drives muscle growth. It's about the tension, the time under tension. It's about progressively overloading the muscle, you know what I mean? It's a lot of factors, and doing it a bunch of times is definitely not one of them, okay? As Mike Mentzer once said, the childish preconceived notion that many people have is that they think that more is better, when sometimes less is better. I would disagree on him training once a week or twice a week or whatever the hell he does, but I would definitely say that you don't want to overtrain. And with abs, doing them a lot isn't gonna make them bigger, and it's not even gonna make them pop out. Because sure, the cardio, you might think, oh, it's probably gonna lower my fat around that area. First of all, even cardio doesn't just spot reduce fat. You can't spot reduce fat. And what spot reduce means, you can't burn fat in a specific area. That depends on your genetics and all that. And second of all, cardio itself isn't that great of a way to lose fat. Like, you'd have to be very obsessed with cardio and do it 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day, depending on how fat you are, if you really wanted to lose that ab fat and get some muscle, right? You would have to go crazy on cardio. So cardio is great for health, and I'm not saying to not do cardio. It's great for health. It's great for looking better over the long term. It's going to give you those slight percentage boosts over months and years, and you will look significantly better than 3 months ago if you start doing cardio 3 months ago. But that doesn't mean you're going to look that doesn't mean if you're fat you're gonna get abs, okay? You gotta eat good, you gotta diet good, you gotta sleep good. And especially the diet, you gotta eat healthy. You know, you can't fucking eat like a fat sack of shit and then go to the gym and expect to outwork your diet. People who think they can outwork their diet, you know, I eat junk food, you know, a good amount of times, but even I don't think I can outwork a diet, because I know how much better I would look if I had a strict ass diet. And now I do have a pretty strict diet because I'm cutting, obviously. So mostly all I'm eating is grilled chicken and some tortilla, you know what I mean? But still, I could be eating better. You know, I could grill it with less oil. I could have a lower calorie tortilla with mostly fiber instead of carbs. So listen, dude, point is, diet is way more important, and you can't outwork a bad diet. You'll just work with it and have worse results, okay? So don't try to outwork a bad diet, all right? Just get the diet in check, and you'll thank me, because in 2 months you'll look like a completely different human being. Trust me. And as long as you stick with it, as long as you're honest with yourself. Okay, so I know this is how to build muscle. This is a how to build muscle video, but just going on that little tangent there, you can't just expect to build muscle and look good. You also have to lose the fat, okay? Another thing relating to abs still, look, dude, you gotta chillax in terms of what am I talking about? Still regarding abs. So like I said, when it comes to abs is a very important muscle, because when you're like, let's say this, arms are the most obvious muscle, because you're usually always wearing shirts, and you're usually not shirtless in public unless you're a freak like me. Just kidding. So, and the summer is approaching. You're gonna have your shirt off more often than not when you're at the beach or something, okay? But that doesn't mean that you're always gonna have your shirt off. So when you have your shirt on, arms is obviously the most important muscle, just for looks, all right? But abs are like a muscle that's the only muscle kind of in between shirt off and shirt on fully. It's where you just kind of pull up your abs here and there, you know, pull your shirt, flex your abs a little bit, whatever, dude. You kind of look cool in the mirror, take a picture, impress the hose. You know what I mean? It's impressive when you pull your shirt up and you're just ripped, all right? And you got abs. So abs are pretty important, and that's what I'm talking about in a little bit, because they're also a point that I want to make stand out, you know what I mean? So, look, you got to progressively overload, you know what I mean? You got to add a lot of weight, and you got to do compound, like powerful exercises where you're doing heavy and it's hard and you're actually squeezing, and you know, you're giving a proper warm-up, so your first set you're not getting a cramp. All that, you got to take all this into account and train it like every other muscle, okay? Just because it's abs doesn't mean I'm doing a bunch of cardio. That's like imagining doing a bunch of curls in the air, or like with a 1-pound dumbbell. 5-pound dumbbell, you just do 1,000 curls and you think you're gonna get big ass biceps. All you're gonna get is rhabdomyolysis, where your muscles are gonna deteriorate, and then you're gonna be in bed for a week because you can't move your arms, probably in the hospital too. So don't deteriorate your shit. Just, you know, strengthen your abs over time. And that's how you get big abs, all right? Big, strong abs. Don't think you shouldn't train them just because, oh, everyone has abs. When you remove the fat layer, you're gonna see them ripped. Buddy, look, all right, everyone has abs, but you don't want to be 10% body fat to see the abs. You should want to see the abs of 15% body fat. And no, it's not going to make your goddamn waist look huge, all right? You're not a bodybuilder, and so it's not going to be, that slight difference in size is not only not going to be noticeable, first of all, but second of all, it's just going to make you look even better. That extra muscle, even on the side, when you flex from the side, it's going to look nice and striated. It's all muscle at the end of the day. Even if it makes your waist look a bit bigger, it's not going to be noticeable to the average person, and you're not a bodybuilder, so you're chill. Best way to build muscle overall, I know this was kind of like an ab tangent, so maybe I'll title this video like how one builds abs, I guess. But oh, that's a good video idea. As of recently, I've been like, I was looking at my past videos and I realized like people do tend to engage more when I do videos where I talk about muscle growth rather than like fat loss a lot of the time. And I'm still going to talk about both, obviously, but talk about muscle growth a little bit more. And I just thought like, oh, abs are probably a good muscle to talk about in the moment. Now, since this video is already catered towards abs, and I might as well go towards the aesthetics route a little bit more, but I Another thing, another muscle that people have a harder time training is definitely their. I'd say, what other muscle is more hard to train? I know for a lot of people, quads is something that's a little more harder to train. For quads, I'd say, you know, you shouldn't just want to prioritize one specific type of exercise. I'd say you should probably. I feel like quads is a muscle that's very like person to person dependent, and there are like overall things that will probably grow your calves if you're in the 99 percentile of human beings, squat or something like that. But some people have shit ankle mobility, and doing a squat is just too much for them. So, you know, they have back issues or whatever it is, dude. With quads, I'd say do a mix. Have a mix of like heavy, low weight sets and also light, high weight sets. You know, your legs are meant to do a lot of cardio, so they do benefit more so from. Sometimes they may potentially benefit from higher rep work and higher volume work. So don't skip your legs. You know what I mean? Don't try to look like you know, you look like a retard if you skip your legs. Don't skip your legs. Look, dude. I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to share some of my thoughts on like building muscle. The summer's approaching. I'm sure people are getting excited. And I work at the gym, and I know that people are less enthusiastic when summer actually arrives. For some reason, we have a lot less sales in the gym. And I can imagine why. Like, summer's already started. You're like, why would I start now? I'm just going to waste the summer pretty much going to the gym, which I hate. So I'm just going to go next year. And this year, I'll be a fat fucking slob. Look. A couple months before the gym, as long as you're not too overly morbidly obese, hey, a couple months before the summer, hit the gym, dude. And you shouldn't see it as something that you hate, but I understand if you do, if that's not your passion, that's not your thing. If you go to the gym to lose weight and stuff, that's fair as well, you know what I mean? But you should see something like exercise as something good. You should never see it in a bad light. And I don't want to be too politically, like, in the middle, like, don't go to the gym. All right, like, don't just skip it. Don't be lazy. And I know it's slightly more polarizing than what you hear, maybe potentially, but look, you can't expect to live a long and healthy life without exercising in the modern world. All right, but yeah, man, I think I'll do I'll do videos like these that don't have an exact purpose or like an exact theme are also quite helpful, just because I say things that are in my head that have been waiting to be said, but you know, there's other topics I talk about and I can't always include them. So a lot of helpful tips here. If you guys you benefited from this in any sort of way, I would appreciate a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.